You are watching 83-year-old Dalisay Sanchez fall from a Maui public bus operated by Roberts Tours and Transportation. Sanchez, on her way home from taking college classes at the University of Hawaii, was knocked to the ground as the door closed on her. You can hear her scream for help. The door was operated by bus driver Davalyn Clark, who paid no attention to what was going on around her. She just drove away with Dalisay on the ground.
I was dying on that day, that time. I need help, but she never come and look what happened to me.
As she pulled away, bus driver Clark apparently realized that she may have seen something. Listen here.
A girl is fall. What girl? The one by the bus stop. I don't know. What? She's on the ground. I don't know. Check this too though. You guys, you know that girl that was at the bus stop that you guys did she fall? Well, when we got there was nobody. Oh, I don't know. We didn't even realize there was anybody there.
But Davalyn Clark didn't care enough to stop or go back. Watch the sequence again, in real time, from multiple cameras. At the bus stop, Dalisay is helped to a bench by a passerby. Medics and police arrive. Doctors determined Dalisay suffered a displaced fracture of the left femoral neck. She underwent emergency surgery, requiring 3 6.5-millimeter titanium screws, forever altering her mobility.
Her lifespan is definitely markedly cut down. It happens with all, hip fracture patients. Doesn't matter the reasoning, but hip fractures, we know conclusively it decreases your lifespan, and it could be from 5-10 years. It depends on the person. And she's, like I said, she's atrophying, and that does not bode well for life expectancy as well. Having a purpose and having a able body to fulfill that purpose, that really does lead to longevity lifespan. She had a lot of plans. She can't, fulfill those anymore.
She was in her early 80s, but her age did not show it. She would walk. She would always walk. She was like the most active elder woman, probably, like on her little area in her apartment area. She just, if she wanted to get something done and she had no ride, she walked. She was just exceptionally active.
So I just see how she just slowing down, and that's what makes me, without what happened, if that didn't happen, then my mom should, would be seeing her just walking around, getting her walk exercise, and then go places. That's how she is. Yeah, she's very outgoing, and she like to do things on her own. Yeah, and that she lost that kind of freedom.
This should have never happened, but Roberts Transportation hired a driver, Davalyn Clark, with a history of problems. In fact, on December 5th, 2008, Clark, a school bus driver at the time, was involved in a crash. She was told next time she could be fired. As a Roberts employee, she was reprimanded for fighting with a passenger and later suspended. This incident was completely preventable if only Clark was paying attention to her bus and her passengers. But she wasn't, and she lied about it. While on the ground, Dalisay called Roberts Dispatch, which couldn't reach Clark for more than 10 minutes. Look at this internal email from a Roberts dispatcher. I asked Clark if there was an incident that had happened on her bus at the Luana Gardens bus stop. She said nothing that I know of, but she also replied with, "I did see someone on the ground, but I didn't think it was a passenger from my bus." Clark also lied to police. Davalin Clark reported the side entrance door was open and the door was not closed prematurely. This video shows Clark lied. State of Hawaii investigators agree. Writes Maui County Transportation Director Don Medeiros. We have reviewed the surveillance system data and determined that driver Davalin Clark was negligent and inattentive, carrying out her duty in violation of the bus operator's general operating procedure. Had she followed the above policy, this incident could have been prevented. Clark was later fired with this letter, where Roberts Hawaii admitted that its driver closed the door on Dalisay Sanchez. On November 27, 2017, while operating your Maui bus route, you closed your rear door on a female rider, causing her to fall out of the bus onto the curb. Because of this, the female rider sustained major injuries to her hip. There is no other side of the story. Dalisay Sanchez relied on Roberts Hawaii for safe transportation, but Roberts driver Davalin Clark shut the door on Dalisay, causing her to fall, resulting in a critical injury. She will never be the same. With Dr. Curtis Beckham writing, Sanchez suffered a catastrophic injury. She will need lifelong home care and long-term medical treatment.
I think the biggest thing that would help her is actually having a 24-hour care provider here to assist her in cooking, cleaning, helping her, and a physical therapist too, to basically help her strengthen, get exercise several hours a day just to work on this. Right now she's 90% in the wheelchair. I mean, she only gets up to go to the kitchen or to the bathroom, and that's a sedentary lifestyle. Even though, I mean, she's at low risk sitting down, but it's not good. It's bad for everything else. You're deconditioning your heart, cardiovascular system, again, muscle atrophies. But if she needs to get out, and so I think having a full-time caregiver, a physical therapy would definitely be helpful for her. And I think at this point, a counselor to talk to her and trying to help her socialize more or to get out, and because she's almost like this is a prison cell for her. She's trapped here most of the time. She doesn't like to go to the community center because it's just too far, and we're on the second floor, and it takes a lot of work to get down there. So, having a counselor that she can talk to, or at least get out of the house, I think would definitely help her.
Before, I'm a happy person because now I am depressed. I have suffering and pain, and I think so I will be permanent disabled.
Even in her 80s, Dalisay was out and about, independent, realizing her dream of finishing college. Look at her transcript. She was so close to finishing, but now can't.
This happened, the accident happened. So I have to stay home, permanent disabled, lost my friends, my family, particularly, I miss them.
My mom is just slowing down with everything. Unlike before that I can see her, can do things, even just, pretty much a lot of times I try to encourage her to, get up. I think this makes her also frustrated or depressed about what happened to her.
Dalisay also loves church, but can rarely go. Getting around requires planning and lots of help.
My last time I attend church when my daughter from the Philippines came last May 2018 to visit me. I attend the church.
We would do everything with the church. My grandma tried to get me involved with the church. You can ask anybody who was from the church. They can tell you the same thing. She didn't show her age. She was like the kindest Filipino woman you could know.
Independent before the fall, Dalisay now needs home health care. She can't do what she used to do, and that will never change.
Well, as she demonstrated, she had 2 falls, and this is very common after a hip fracture. Balance goes off, and the more equipment that you use for stability, well, actually that causes a lot of the tripping and falling. If her floor is not clean, even if she has a walker, she can slip and fall. And the obstruction of just having an assisted device can actually cause more problems. So even though she can get up and move around, right now it's daytime. It's good sunlight. She's alert, but when she gets sleepy, who knows what happens? If she's in the shower or she's going to the bathroom, she can slip and fall easily. And because of her previous injuries, now with this compression fracture, it's going to make it more susceptible to falls.
Dalisay now has one wish: to have enough energy to see her family in the Philippines.
I would like to go to the Philippines this coming December 2019 to meet my family. I miss them.
Yes, it is realistic, but she would have to understand it might be a one-way trip. As she goes over there, she might lose all of her energy reserve and the exhaustion from travel. And once you get there, she could rapidly degenerate and deteriorate after that. So she'll have to understand it might be a one-way trip. It might be difficult to come back.
I will be disabled, permanent disabled through my life if I live 92 years old. I will die disabled person.
And that is not what Dalisay Sanchez ever expected. Roberts Hawaii had a duty to train and monitor its drivers to keep its passengers safe. Roberts failed, forever taking independence away from Dalisay.